All right, so get this. We're going deep on the law of attraction today.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, you know that whole idea that, like, your thoughts can actually, like, shape your reality and stuff.
Okay, yeah.
So I've got a couple of sources for this one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, one is from, like, a personal finance blog,
Okay.
and it's very much like manifest wealth through this, like wealth DNA.
Uh-huh.
And then we have another one that's from Very Well Mind,
Right.
which is, a bit more of a kind of, like, grounded approach, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it sounds like two very different perspectives.
Yeah, so we're going to kind of, like, see what they say
Cool.
and see if this is a bunch of malarkey or if there's something to it.
Yeah.
So for our listener out there, like, we're going to give you the, kind of the cheat sheet version of what is the law of attraction?
Right.
What is it all about?
Yeah.
How does it supposedly work? And does it work? And, like, what can you maybe take away from it?
Right.
Even if it's not all true.
Yeah, and what are the potential pitfalls too, I guess?
Yeah.
Because I can imagine if you're kind of like, super into this and it doesn't work out the way you want,
Yeah.
it could be pretty disheartening.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So what is at the core of this law of attraction thing?
Well, the basic idea, and I think a lot of people have heard this, even if they're not familiar with the law of attraction, is that like attracts like.
Okay.
So
Okay.
the idea is that positive thoughts will attract positive experiences,
Okay.
and then negative thoughts will attract negative experiences.
All right.
So it's kind of like you're putting out this energy,
Uh-huh.
and then it's coming back to you.
Okay. But how does that work, though?
Yeah, so that's where it gets a little bit, I guess, vague
Right.
or a little bit mystical, depending on, how you look at it.
Right.
And so the motivation article that we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
they actually talk about energy and vibrations.
Okay.
So they say that your thoughts and your emotions,
Uh-huh.
they kind of emit this energy. And then that energy will attract a similar energy
Okay.
back to you.
So if I'm, like, I don't know, feeling kind of depressed,
Right.
that's going to attract, like, more depressing things into my life.
Well, that's kind of what they're suggesting. Yeah.
I don't know about that.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely, I think it's one of those things where it's hard to measure.
Yeah.
And it's hard to say for sure if that's actually happening.
Right.
But the Very Well Mind article actually kind of steers clear of that kind of thinking.
Okay.
They acknowledge that there's really no scientific evidence
Uh-huh.
to support the law of attraction.
Okay.
So, I mean, they're not even really trying to say that that's a real thing.
Okay, so they're not really on board with that, like, energy and vibration thing.
No, not so much.
Okay.
But what they do focus on is the psychological impact
Mm-hmm.
of positive thinking.
Right.
So it's less about the, the cosmic energy attracting things into your life
Mm-hmm.
and more about how your thoughts can shape.
Your perceptions and your actions.
So it's more of a mindset thing.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
And I think that's where it gets a little bit more believable, I guess.
Sure.
Because if you think about it, like, if you believe you can achieve something,
Mm-hmm.
you're probably more likely to take the steps
Right.
to make it happen.
Yeah.
It's not like your thoughts are literally conjuring something.
Yeah.
$1 million isn't just going to appear in your bank account
Right.
because you've thought about it.
Right.
But it can influence your behavior.
Okay.
And it can make you more open to opportunities.
Yeah.
So it's more like, it's giving you a nudge in the right direction
Right.
rather than, like, actually controlling
Yeah.
the universe.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's not like magic.
Right.
It's more about like actually empowering yourself
Exactly. Yeah.
to do things, to take action.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
That makes a lot more sense to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, because like, the motivation article, they use this example of like, if you want a red car.
Yeah.
You're going to start seeing red cars everywhere.
Right.
Which, I mean, I guess that's kind of true.
Yeah.
But it's not because the universe is creating more red cars for you.
Right. Yeah.
It's just that your brain is like, oh, yeah, red cars. That's what I'm looking for. And so you start noticing them more.
Yeah.
So I think it's more about like where your attention is focused
Right.
than it is about actually attracting things
Yeah.
into existence.
I mean, so, like, instead of magically attracting a promotion,
right.
it's more like having a more positive mindset
Mm-hmm.
will make me, like, more proactive.
Yeah,
And help me see opportunities that maybe I wouldn't have seen before.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes a lot more sense.
Yeah.
I like that a lot better.
Yeah.
So, I mean, even if this law of attraction isn't like a real law,
Right.
it sounds like there might be some practical things you can kind of take away from it.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. So let's get into those.
Yeah, let's talk about some of the specific things.
What are people doing?
Yeah, what are the actual tips?
Yeah.
that people are using.
Yeah.
So, I mean, both of the articles actually talk about things like visualization
Okay.
and practicing gratitude
Uh-huh.
and monitoring your thoughts.
Okay.
But I think the way they approach it is a little bit different.
Okay.
The motivation article is really all about like attracting wealth
Yeah.
effortlessly, which, to be honest, sounds too good to be true.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
Yeah.
That wealth DNA thing,
Yeah.
I'm not sure I'm buying it.
Yeah. I don't know about that.
Yeah.
But the Very Well Mind article, I
Yeah.
think they have a little bit more of a realistic approach.
Okay.
You know, they suggest you can use the law of attraction
Uh-huh.
in different areas of your life, like in your relationships at work, with finances, but you have to actually take action.
Okay, so it's not just like wishing for $1 million.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And like hoping it appears in your bank account.
Yeah.
You have to actually do something.
Okay.
And they use this example of like, you know, you want a promotion at work.
Right.
So yeah, visualizing yourself getting the promotion is great,
Yeah.
but you also have to do things like, you know, update your resume,
Mm-hmm.
do some networking, maybe ask for more responsibilities
Yeah.
to show that you're ready for that promotion.
Yeah.
So I think it's more about aligning your actions
Right.
with your goals
Right.
rather than just like relying on positive vibes.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
It's much more grounded.
Yeah.
You know?
It puts the responsibility on you,
Yeah.
which I think is important.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, I don't know, it's interesting to think about like which one of these resonates more with you. Do you buy into this idea of like effortless wealth,
Right.
or are you more into like the taking action approach? I
Right.
think for me personally, I'm more into the taking action approach.
Yeah, me too.
But I'm curious what our listeners think.
Yeah. What about you, listener?
Which of these applications kind of speak to you?
Yeah, and like how could you adapt some of these tips to your own goals?
Yeah, and I guess the big question is like,
Yeah.
is there any actual evidence
Right.
that this law of attraction stuff works?
Yeah.
Or is it just wishful thinking,
Right.
you know, dressed up in like motivational language?
And that's the question, isn't it? Like, does this thing actually work?
Yeah, is there any like hard evidence?
Yeah, like I like the positive mindset thing,
Uh-huh.
but I'm also like, yeah, got to keep it real.
Yeah.
So what does science have to say about all this?
Well, the Very Well Mind article
Yeah.
is pretty upfront about it.
Okay.
They say there's no real scientific evidence
Okay.
to back it up.
So like no wealth DNA.
No, not really.
Okay.
Sorry to disappoint.
Yeah, but I mean, but like, could it backfire though?
Yeah, that's a good question.
Like if you're so focused on like manifesting things,
Right.
and it doesn't happen,
Right.
like could that mess you up?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a risk.
Yeah.
And Very Well Mind actually talks about that.
Okay.
They talk about the potential for self-blame.
Okay.
So, like, if you really believe
Uh-huh.
that your thoughts control everything,
Right.
then if something bad happens,
Yeah.
you might start blaming yourself
Right.
for it.
Like, oh, if only I had been more positive.
Yeah, he said.
Then, my mom wouldn't have gotten sick or whatever.
Right, or I would have gotten that job, or,
Right.
you know, whatever it is.
Oh, man. That's
Yeah.
kind of a bummer.
It's a little bit of a dark side to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Don't take it too far.
Yeah, so it's like,
Mhm.
it's good to be positive. But you can't, like, blame yourself for every bad thing.
Right, exactly.
That happens,
Yeah, you have to recognize that.
right?
You know, bad things happen sometimes. And it's not always because of your thoughts.
Life just happens.
Yeah, exactly.
So is there anything we can take away from this whole law of attraction thing then?
Yeah.
Or should we just kind of, like, toss it out?
I mean, I think even if the
Yeah.
law of attraction isn't like this magical formula
Right.
for getting everything you want, I think it does highlight
Uh-huh.
like the power of our thoughts and beliefs.
Okay.
You know, like even if you don't believe you can attract specific things into your life,
Right.
just having a more positive mindset
Yeah.
can have a lot of benefits.
Yeah.
You know, like it can reduce stress.
Yeah.
It can improve your mood.
Right.
It can even boost your immune system.
Okay.
So like there's real benefits
Right.
to thinking more positively.
So it's not like you're controlling the universe or anything,
Right.
but just like being more positive can actually like help you in real ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. And that's kind of where the psychology comes in,
Okay.
you know?
Yeah, let's get into that.
Yeah, because like
Yeah.
Remember the Very Well Mind article?
Uh-huh.
Talked about some of the psychological benefits.
Yeah, they talk about like optimism and resilience and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And, those are qualities that are also cultivated
Okay.
in therapies like CBT.
Wait, CBT?
Yeah.
Like cognitive behavioral therapy?
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay.
Yeah.
So we're talking like actual therapy now,
Yeah.
not just like some self-help stuff.
Well, I mean, CBT is a form of therapy.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it's a real technique
Yeah.
that's used
Okay.
to help people.
Okay.
And CBT focuses on
Yeah.
recognizing
Uh-huh.
and changing negative thought patterns
Mhm.
that can impact your emotions and your behaviors. So it's not about denying negative experiences.
Right.
It's about learning to manage them
Okay.
in a healthier way.
So it's not about like pretending everything's perfect.
Right, exactly.
It's
yeah.
more about like, I'm feeling this way,
Yeah,
but like, I'm not going to let it control me.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like, for example,
Okay.
let's say you have a negative thought pattern
Yeah.
around money.
Okay.
Like, I'll never be financially secure.
Right. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah. A lot of people feel that
Yeah,
way.
yeah.
Yeah.
So in CBT,
Uh-huh.
you might challenge that thought
Okay.
by looking at your past successes.
Right.
Maybe you paid off some debt,
Yeah.
or you got a raise.
Right.
Or maybe you can take steps to improve your financial literacy.
Okay.
So it's about like shifting from
Right.
this place of fear and scarcity
Yeah.
to a place of like empowerment and action.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. So it's like,
So it's like instead of I'm never going to
yeah.
be financially secure,
Yeah.
it's like I can actually like learn about this stuff.
Exactly.
I can do things.
Yeah. Okay.
And I can improve my situation.
Yeah. So it's not just about like, I don't know, thinking positive thoughts. It's
No.
about like action,
It's about changing your behavior.
doing things to change
Yeah.
your situation.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
So.
I mean, I'm seeing how this all kind of ties together now,
Yeah. Yeah.
Even if like we get rid of all the like, weird mystical stuff from the law of attraction.
Yeah, like the wealth DNA.
Yeah, the wealth DNA. Yeah. There's some overlap here with
Right.
like actual psychological techniques.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
So,
Before we get too deep into like the psychology though,
yeah.
I am kind of curious, like
Mm-hmm.
where did this law of attraction thing come from?
Oh, that's interesting.
Like, is this like an ancient wisdom thing? That's a good question.
Like they passed down from like, I don't know.
Yeah, like the ancient Greeks or
Yeah, yeah.
something like that.
Yeah.
So,
Was it Socrates?
not quite.
Okay.
So while the idea of, like a track slag
Yeah.
has been around for a long time,
Okay.
the modern concept
Uh-huh.
of the law of attraction
Yeah.
actually has roots in the 19th century.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
So not that ancient.
Not super ancient, no.
Okay.
It's part of this movement called the New Thought Movement.
Okay.
And this movement really emphasized
Huh.
the power of thought
Okay.
and belief
Uh-huh.
to influence reality.
Okay.
But it's not quite the same
Right.
as like what we see today,
Okay.
with The Secret and all that.
Yeah. So it's like a modern invention almost.
Yeah, I mean, the law of attraction,
Yeah.
as we know it today,
Uh-huh.
really gained popularity
Okay.
in the 20th and 21st centuries, thanks to things like The Secret.
Oh, yeah. The Secret. That
Yeah,
was like,
got huge.
yeah, it was everywhere.
Yeah.
And it brought,
Oprah was talking about it, I think.
yeah, pretty much everyone was
Yeah.
talking about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it brought the law of attraction
Mm-hmm.
into the spotlight.
Right.
But I think it also
That-
oversimplified it a little bit.
Yeah.
And I think it kind of promoted this idea
Right.
that you could manifest anything you want
Right.
just by thinking about it.
Right. Which can be dangerous.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Like we were saying earlier.
Yeah. And lead to a lot of self-blame
Right. Yeah.
and unrealistic expectations.
Yeah, for sure.
I think.
So it's helpful to kind of know, like,
Yeah.
where this idea came from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how it's evolved over time.
Right.
Because I think it helps us understand its place in the bigger picture.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to approach it
Mm-hmm.
with a critical eye.
Yeah.
You know?
To separate the hype.
Right.
From the potential benefits.
Okay, so like how are people actually using this law of attraction stuff then? Like are they doing it in this more practical way?
Right.
Like the Very Well Mind article
Right.
suggests?
Uh-huh.
Or are they going full secret
Yeah.
and trying to manifest their dream life?
Yeah. That's a good question.
Yeah.
I think it's probably a mix.
Okay.
Like, I think you have some people
Yeah.
who really embrace the more
Yeah.
spiritual and mystical aspects of it.
Okay.
And they really believe they can manifest anything,
Right.
wealth, love, success,
Right.
whatever it is,
Okay.
just by thinking about it.
Okay.
And then you have other people
Uh-huh.
who use it more as a framework
Okay.
for self-improvement.
Okay.
And they're really focused on
Yeah.
the power of positive thinking
Uh-huh.
and visualization
Right.
to help them achieve their goals.
Okay.
So I think it really comes down to,
Personal interpretation
right.
and application,
Okay.
Yeah,
so it's like you got to figure out what works for you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where you come in, listener.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Listener, what do you think?
Yeah, because I think as we kind of wrap up this deep dive,
Yeah.
I want to leave you with something to think about.
Okay. Hit us with the big question.
All right, so
Yeah.
even if the law of attraction isn't this like
Yeah.
magical formula
Yeah.
for getting everything you want,
Uh-huh.
could simply being more aware
Yeah.
of your thoughts
Yeah.
and their potential impact
Yeah.
lead to positive changes in your life.
Okay, so it's not about like controlling the universe.
Right.
It's more about like understanding the power of your own mind.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's a really good point. But like it's easier said than done, right? To be more aware of your thoughts.
Right.
Like how do you actually do that?
Yeah, especially when like life gets crazy.
Right, exactly.
So like what can we do?
Well, I think both of the articles
Yeah.
and the field of positive psychology in general
Uh-huh.
offers some practical strategies.
Okay, so what's in the toolkit?
Yeah, what can we actually do?
Yeah, how do we make this work?
So one strategy that both articles emphasize is gratitude.
Okay, gratitude.
Yeah.
Like just saying thank you.
It's more than that.
Okay.
It's about actively noticing and appreciating the good things in your life,
Okay.
no matter how small they are.
Okay.
So even just keeping a gratitude journal
Uh-huh.
where you write down a few things you're
Yeah.
grateful for each day
Okay.
can make a big difference.
I can see how that would help.
Yeah.
Like shift your focus a bit.
Yeah, you're basically training your brain
Right.
to look for the positive.
Instead of like dwelling on the negative.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And along with gratitude,
Yeah.
mindfulness is really important too.
Okay, mindfulness.
Yeah, so this means paying attention to your thoughts and feelings. Okay.
Without judging them.
Okay.
So it's about becoming aware when
Yeah.
you're slipping into negative thinking patterns.
So you're like observing your own mind
Yeah, exactly.
and like catching yourself
Yeah.
when you start going down that like negative spiral.
Exactly.
Okay.
And once you're aware of those negative thoughts,
Yeah.
you can start to challenge them
Okay.
and reframe them.
Right.
And this is a key principle in CBT.
Mhm.
So instead of thinking, I can't do this,
Yeah.
you might reframe it as, I'm capable of learning and growing,
Okay.
you know?
So it's like you're being more encouraging to yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's about cultivating a more supportive inner voice.
I like that.
Yeah.
Instead of like beating yourself up all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
And it's important to remember,
Yeah.
it's not about denying negative emotions or
Right.
pretending everything is perfect.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging those feelings,
Okay.
but not letting them control you
Right.
or define your reality. So finding that balance
Yeah.
between acceptance and action. Yeah.
Exactly.
Wow.
And that's where the idea of aligned action comes in.
Okay. Aligned action.
Yeah. So it's not enough to just think positive thoughts.
Right.
You have to actually take steps
Okay.
that are in line with your goals and values.
So like it's not just about wishing for that promotion.
Right.
It's about like actually, taking those online courses,
Yeah.
networking,
Exactly.
putting yourself out there.
Yeah. And this is where I think we can kind of circle back
Okay.
to the law of attraction,
Yeah.
but with a more practical lens.
Okay.
So by focusing on your goals
Yeah.
and taking aligned action,
Uh-huh.
you're creating opportunities
Okay.
for those goals to manifest.
So you're not like magically making it happen,
right.
but you're putting yourself in a position where it's more likely to happen.
Exactly.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah.
So it's like you're setting the stage
Yeah.
for success.
Exactly.
Okay.
And while there's no scientific evidence
Mm-hmm.
to suggest that you can attract specific outcomes,
Right.
there's no denying the power
Yeah.
of a positive and proactive approach to life.
That's a great takeaway, I think, you
Yeah.
know, for our listeners.
It's not about controlling the universe.
Right.
It's about understanding the power of your own mind
Right.
to create the life you want.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So listeners,
As you continue to explore and grow,
yeah,
remember you have the power to shape your reality.
it's not about magic
It's about mastering your own mind.
and taking charge of your own destiny.
Exactly.
Awesome.
That's a wrap
That's our deep dive.
on the law of attraction.
We hope you enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a fascinating topic.
It was really interesting.
Yeah.
We'll catch you on the next one.
Yeah, see you next time.